Hi guys. You know what time it is. It's time for tea with me, Kiki. Let me tell y'all, what you see here was not easy. So I'm glad that I decided to do one eye before coming on to the video because, oh my gosh. It would have been entertaining though because I attempted to put a lash on and now I've pert near glued my eyes shut. So there's that. I probably should have quit this today and not even tried to do this. But here we are. So you're getting an Ursula whether you want it or not. And I'm running out of light, so it's just been an absolute disaster. So you might get a couple close-ups of me because I can see better in the camera than I can. I grabbed the wrong purple. It's fine. I can see better in the camera than I can in the mirror right now. So, yeah. That's what I'm going to use. And you're probably noticing these purples don't match. And you know what? That's okay. Because that's just how this video, or this whole thing is going. And I'm going to blame the fact that she's a sea witch. So she has cursed me because I'm trying to do her face. So it's fine. We're just going to roll with it. And we're going to have a good time while we do it. Okay? So today's, let me adjust this. Today's tea, if you will, is double standards. Now, I have my own in mind of things that, you know, I've noticed throughout my lifetime. Sorry, this is an absolute mess. I can't even believe that I'm doing this. But, you know, this is my thing. It helps calm me down. It helps bring me, you know, helps me feel better. It's like my therapy, and I haven't done it in gosh, almost 2 weeks now. I've not even been in here and messed around. I may have done a day of actual makeup, you know, where I did my makeup for the day and went somewhere, and that was Monday. So I need my time, and it's just been a disaster. So I don't know if it's the universe punishing me because I haven't been in here like I normally would. Maybe not necessarily making videos, but even just doing my makeup for fun. I haven't been doing it. So I'm not real sure what's going on here and why things have been so difficult, but it's fine and we're rolling with it. So here we go. I should probably just look in this because I at least have more light here. So, I looked up a few, double standards, and there are a ton of them. And guys, okay, first of all, ladies, I'm sorry. I know we have a tendency to complain and be like, life's not fair, and things still aren't equal, and yada, 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 but I'm sorry, dudes have it, a little bit worse than us as far as these double standards go. Maybe not in all aspects, but in quite a few, because it seems like a lot of the double standards that men have ultimately always end up with people questioning their sexuality or their masculinity, and frankly I think that's crap. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Men, you're fine. Be you. Do what you want to do. It's absolutely fine. Men, stop questioning each other's sexuality. Seriously. Let them be who they are and don't worry about it. Seriously, the only person questioning your masculinity is you. That's it. The rest of us don't really care. That being said, one of the biggest ones that I myself have always wondered about, and this was even when I was younger and before, all of the different genders and the transgenders, and I identify as it was a thing, but it wasn't talked about, and now, thank God, we are talking about those things, and giving these people freedom and room to be themselves. Well, some of us are, but more so than usual. Um, so, I'm gonna say it. Cross-dressing. Why is it that us women are allowed to wear men's clothes on a regular basis and nobody thinks anything of it? But heaven forbid a man should put on a woman's clothes, and all of the things that get flung at him are just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't know about any of you other girls, but I love me some sweatpants and some hoodies from the men's section. Okay? Why is that any different than a man going and shopping in the women's section? Somebody make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense to me and it never has. And, if a dude wants to dress like a woman and do things like a woman, who cares ultimately? Like, why is it any of our business why they're doing it? Why do we feel it's our place to... Sorry, I can't find my brush and I'm on the middle of a rant. But, I mean, why do we feel like it's our place to... Here we go. Okay, sorry. Why do we feel like it's our place to put a label on it? Like, why do we feel like... Shit. I tell you what, this is just absolute freaking disaster today. But it's fine. We're gonna keep rolling. But why is it that we find the need to put a label on it? Like, why is it acceptable for, first of all, why is it acceptable for women to dress in men's clothes, but not the other way around? So that's my first question. Somebody make it make sense. If you want to comment and tell me why that makes sense to you, then I am all eyes, since I'm not going to be able to hear your reply. But somebody please make that make sense. And also, on the other token, why is it okay for drag people, so people that are openly... Well, I don't know, and I apologize if I'm getting anything wrong. I sincerely do. But gay men who want to dress as women, I assume that's drag. I could be wrong. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not trying to offend anybody. That's the last thing I'm trying to do. But, like, why is it okay for them, and, like, not too many people or think too much about it, or especially girls, they want to gal pal with them, and it's all fine and dandy until it's a straight man who wants to dress in girls' clothes. Then it's a huge deal. I don't get it. So that's bothered me since I was a child, and somebody make it make sense, please. Another one that really bothers me is opposite gender friends. Gonna make some people mad about this one, huh? So, it seems like society is okay with women having multiple friends of the opposite sex. And, that's okay, and that's supposed to be acceptable, and, nobody's supposed to think anything of it. But it seems like when men have a bunch of friends of the opposite sex, it calls a lot into question. Like, it deems them not trustworthy, or, well, they gotta be sleeping with them. And I have heard like a million and one different reasons as to why this might be. And even from men's perspective, it's men and women can't be friends. Like, I guess women are capable of being friends and men aren't, or something like that. Like, women are capable of being friends because, you know, we tend to put men in the dreaded friend zone. Don't even get me started on that. But anyways, so we friend zone people, but men, in order for them to be friends, they had to have at one point been attracted to you. So they're not just trying to be your friend, they're hoping that one day something might happen. Now, I don't agree with this, and this isn't my, like, point of view, but that's what a lot of people tend to think, is that if men are your friends, then they want something. And I think that's horse crap. Stop thinking that. There are probably people out there like that, but there's women out there like that too. So stop. Just stop. Okay? Let people be friends with whoever they want to be friends with. And if you don't trust them enough to be friends with those people, then you probably shouldn't be in a relationship with them in the first place. Fair enough? Okay. Domestic violence. This is another one that might make some people mad, but I don't care. So, one of the double standards with domestic violence is that the biggest one is can't happen to men. Men cannot be, abused. Bullshit. Get that out of your head right now. Sorry for my language, but get that out of your head right now. Men actually probably get abused more than women do. And here's the problem with what we've created in society as far as this men not being able to be abused. Is women are allowed to knock the shit out of men whenever they want to. I've seen it a million times. A girl just smacked the shit out of a man and he's supposed to stand there and take it. No, shitty fighter? Absolutely not. But if he were to do anything, people would be more apt to jump on his case than hers. And she just smacked him. Ladies, that's abuse. Stop hitting your men. Okay? Because if they hit you back and you call the police, they're the ones going to jail for domestic violence. Not you. Women very rarely get arrested and charged. Okay? It's always the man. Even if he's defending himself, he's still going to take a trip to jail. And it's horse shit. So ladies, stop hitting your man. Just stop. And men, stop hitting women. Stop beating women. Seriously. Along the lines of domestic violence, there's assault. So apparently men cannot be assaulted or harassed. Again, bullshit. Whenever a man claims or, feels like he's been violated, again, his masculinity comes into question. I'm sorry, but there are women out there who are just as sleazy or just as nasty or just as mean as men can be. And, there are guys out there who just don't want that type of attention. Or they don't want, some lady that everybody thinks is sexy to be their first kiss. Or, touching their... And that's fine. That's their business. It's not your problem. It's not your business. If they're saying that they're being harassed or assaulted or they've been assaulted, then believe them. And don't worry about the details. Don't say, whatever it is that you guys say when a guy is feeling uncomfortable about something that a woman has done. It's bullshit. If he feels uncomfortable, he feels uncomfortable. It doesn't matter. And there's my thoughts on the matter. Like, we just need to stop. We need to stop treating everybody as, that can't happen to you because you're this, or that can't happen to you because you're this. Well, it happened, okay? So, believe me, be my friend and support me. That's all there is to it. There's nothing else. That's it. Your friend suffers something, whether they are male or female, they need to be taken seriously. Bottom line. So just stop, please. Can we stop this? Let's see, what else? How are we coming along here? I'm just not too sure, guys. Not too sure. Poor Ursula. I just don't know if I am doing her justice. I just really don't. Okay, so we'll back off that train for a minute. I mean, we're still gonna talk about double standards, but we're just gonna back down off of that because things got a little heated, and it's just unfair. Like those things they're just unfair and it's stupid. But on the opposite side of the coin, since I've been beating up how we treat men, I'm gonna talk about double standards that suck towards women. So one of the biggest ones is that we are supposed to be more clean and more organized. So it is more socially acceptable for a man to be, like for a man's living quarters or living space to be dusty and dirty. And, I've been in a number of men's cars that are just disgusting. And and I've noticed that once I read about that, it was like, that's true. Like, I don't have a tendency to be as judgmental when I get into a man's car and it's not, necessarily as clean as, well, who am I kidding? My car is never clean. But, when I've been in my mom's car or something like that, or other women's cars, I tend not to be as judgmental when I get into a man's car and it's dirty. Same with a man's home. You get into a man's home and you might kind of be like, ew, it's kind of gross, but you don't tend to like question, what's he doing? Why isn't this clean? And blah, 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 blah. There's just not as many questions. In organization, we're supposed to be more organized and men are just allowed to live in chaos. It doesn't make sense. But granted, I know for a fact that there are women who are disorganized and women who are messy, just like there are men who are extremely clean and extremely organized. So again, stop it. We are people. Our genders really don't have much to do with these things. Like, we've decided that they do, so we act like they do. And I really don't think they play that big of a role in some of these things that we've been talking about. This all comes down to the type of person that you're dealing with. Like the opposite gender friends. You could have a girl who has a crap ton of guy friends, and she's actually a hoochie, for lack of a better terms. She might be sleeping with all of them, or she might be sleeping with none of them. Same with a guy. Guy can have a bunch of girlfriends, and he could be sleeping with all of them, but he could be sleeping with none of them. They could just be friends. So it all depends on the person. It has nothing to do with the gender. It's the person. It's what's inside. That's what should matter. Let's talk about single status. It is perfectly fine for a man in his 40s to be single. Nobody bats an eye. Nobody thinks anything of it. Sorry, I'm getting behind because I'm getting too busy talking. Nobody thinks anything of it. It's perfectly acceptable for a man in his 40s to be absolutely single, no family, no wife, no girlfriend, just, chilling, minding his own business. But you get a girl in her late 30s, like me, and everybody starts looking at you like, why aren't you settled down? Why aren't you settled down? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? Do you like my son's little spotlight view there? So they start questioning, what's wrong with you? Why don't you have this? Why don't you blah, 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 blah? And it's crap. It's not fair. So men have till they're like 50s before somebody goes, why don't you have a marriage? Why don't you have children, etc., etc.? And a woman like me, 36. You ain't married? Well, you're damaged goods. You ain't never getting married. You ain't never gonna have this. You ain't never gonna have that. And I think the only reason why people stay off my back more so than most women my age is the fact that I already have a child. So that's probably my saving grace sometimes in keeping them off my back. But it is a thing, and I've heard it happen to many people. Granted, it's getting better, but you know, it's still a thing. And I just really need... Okay, I'm going to get real close and in your face here in a second. So I can do my... Actually, we'll try it this way. Nope, I'm not going to be able to do it that way. Okay, let me take my notebook down. I need better light. Sammy. So, there's that. And while we're on the subject of that, there's dating. The dating thing for women is completely different than it is for men. I have no idea why. I don't know what caused it. Just like everything else, I don't understand it. But it is. It's that way. It's totally different. Like men, they're considered awesome and just they get big pats on the back. The more women they date and the more they get around, basically. And women is not so much that way for us. The more people we date, the more negatively we get looked upon. Oh man, I really jacked that eye up when I tried to glue that eyelash on. So it's like the more women men date, the more, woohoo, look at you, you sexy beast, blah, 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 blah. And women, it's like, you might want to slow down, girlfriend. You might want to just chill for a minute because you'll get up on hoochie status. And it's not fair. Like, again, leave people alone. Like, it's none of our business. Just let us be people. Oh, here we are. Hello. I don't know, maybe do that. Anyways, so so on the opposite side of the coin. So here's what doesn't make sense to me, and maybe once I tell you guys, maybe you can help it make sense to me. And yes, I'm stopping for a minute because this one I really struggled to wrap my head around. So the dating experience, like I just talked about, for women is totally different than men. So the more they date and the more relationships that they've been in, they get looked at a little bit more negatively than men. And men get praised for, how many they've had and blah, blah, blah. Fine, whatever. The part that doesn't make sense to me is that it also says that when it comes to cheating, men are looked at more negatively. Like they automatically assume the man is a jerk and, oh my God, why would he do that? But when women cheat, it's justified. Like they find ways to justify it. Like, oh, she cheated because, he's not paying attention to her, or she feels unloved, or he just wasn't paying attention to her, and he just wasn't loving her like he should have been. Okay, again, I'm gonna call bullshit. And if you think that men can't feel neglected or unloved, you are sadly mistaken. Because they do and they can. So, in no time should cheating be acceptable. However, if we're going to justify it for one gender, then we need to attempt to justify it for both genders. Because the unloved and neglected feeling goes either way. Just like everything else we've discussed. So there's my 2 cents on that. Cheating is shit. Either way you do it. However, if we're going to justify it, then we need to justify it for everybody. Not just for one sex opposed to the other. So there's my 2 cents on that. If anybody cares. What else do we have? This is fun. I'm actually having fun with this one. May not have any viewers after this, but it's fine. Oh, since I'm talking about viewers, again, like I say every time, appreciate you all so much. Seriously, absolutely overwhelming. The amount of support and love that I feel from you guys. So before I get back into rant status, I just wanted to put that out there, that I am so appreciative of the love and support that you guys have shown me, and the fact that my first videos are still getting views and haven't just like died off. It's fantastic and way more than I could have ever hoped for. So thank you. Now comes the fun part. So okay, guys, back to double standards. Sorry, I'm focusing on trying to make my face somewhat look like hers. So some other double standards. I don't know, basically, in a nutshell, all of these double standard, or these standards that we've set upon genders, for whatever reason, they can absolutely go both ways. Like I said, it all is going to depend on the person and not necessarily the gender that they are. Some of the other ones that I found very noteworthy were the fact that, did you know, now these posts were written by men, so the fact, like the argument that, well, no men's gonna care about that is invalid because it was written by men. But one of the ones is, did you know there are no self-defense for men? Like, okay, so don't get me wrong. There is courses, like men can join stuff and pay fees and all that stuff. I'm not saying that. But there are things out there just for women that teach them self-defense. However, there are not those same things available for men. So there's that assumption that, oh, he's a man. He doesn't need to know how to defend himself. He should already know that. It's crap. Everyone should know how to defend themselves. Another thing that drives me absolutely insane is men not being allowed to be emotional. Or they get quite, again, their masculinity gets called into question. Like, what the hell? Guys, women, stop it. Because when you're in a relationship, you're asking yourself, why won't he talk to me? Why won't he tell me what he's feeling? Why won't he express himself? We just answered your question. Because anytime they do, or they did when they were growing up, it was smacked down right away. Oh, you're a man, you stop that shit right now. No emotions for you. So ladies, that's why. They've been raised and made that way. And they probably don't know how else to be. So help them. Help them get in touch with their feelings. But don't just get pissed off because they're not doing it. Because we as society, we've done that to them. It's our fault, sort of, that they're not in touch with their emotions. And when you find a man that is in touch with when you find a man that is in touch with his emotions, leave the man alone. Let him be in touch with his emotions and don't make comments about the fact that he's in touch with his feminine side. No, he's in touch with himself and he's absolutely allowed to be. My son, from day one, I have allowed him to express his emotions. I mean, granted, he struggles with it just like anybody else, but he's got some issues, which makes his emotions either run on extremes or he doesn't know how to channel them, period. But I'm not sure what I'm doing here, guys. He's always allowed, when you're upset, you're allowed to be upset. When you're sad, you're allowed to be sad. Freaking cry. If you need to cry, cry. Child cries more than I do. But that's because I am emotionally a little screwed up. I try to not have him be the same way. So, anytime he's upset, he is allowed to be upset. And we talk about it. We try to figure out, why are you upset? What's wrong? And ladies, if you have boys, allow them to express their emotions. Allow them to talk. It's only going to help them when they get older. Okay, so oh, yes. One more thing I'd like to add, and this is also for the dudes. Like I said, I feel like while there are a lot of double standards aimed at us both, and, you know, things that were allowed and things that were not allowed, I do feel like the men get the shorter end of the stick. Like, they've got a lot more pressure, I guess, to be a certain way. Like, I feel like us women, we get a little bit more leeway. Now, I know there's some others, like, if we do certain things, we're automatically batshit crazy. And, I'm sure we could have spent, like, all day, on double standards for both sexes. It just so happens that the most common ones that I came across, and I went different sources, so it wasn't just, one source that was men heavy or whatever, but it just seems like, men are just, they got the shorter end of the stick. It seems like a lot more things, call their sexuality into question than us. Like, I found it interesting that, again, written by man, if they use certain vocabulary, so certain words, that's it, certain words, are you gay? Seriously? I don't know that my vocabulary has ever called my sexuality into question. So, why does using certain words call a man's sexuality into question? I don't understand it. Again, somebody make it make sense, because it doesn't. Also, women, we used to be horrible at this, but we're getting better at it. Complimenting each other. Women, not afraid to call another woman beautiful. Maybe once upon a time we were, but not anymore. But should a man compliment another man? Dude, gay? Like, why? Fellas, somebody please explain this to me. Make it make sense. I have a lot of male followers, which, there again, not really a double standard, but a stereotype. I didn't think I would have male followers because I'm doing makeup. Why would guys want to see that? They could be interested in what I have to say and just think that the end result is cool. So I myself did it. We're sorry, guys. Like, we expect you guys to be freaking Superman and bulletproof, and we just don't give you a whole lot of leeway. So, but why though? So why, when you guys use when guys use certain verbiage or compliment another dude, why is it an issue? Somebody make it make sense. Somebody explain it to me, please. Like, for real. Because I want to know. Like, I legit want to know. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but I want to know why. Why do we do these things? Like, why do we, especially to each other? Like, why? Life is already hard enough. Like, why do we have to make it harder on each other? I don't understand. So, let's, some of these things that I talk about, make them make sense, please. So, like, comment, something, please make these things make sense. I'm about to hit 40 minutes, and I'm trying hard to cut these things down. So, let me finish up, and then I will come back on with the end result. Okay, so I brought you guys into better lighting so you could see the finished result. Let me know what you think and all these things that we discussed. If you can help me make it make sense, then please do. As always, I love you guys and have a great week.